Hello, I'm Charlotte Britt, Edney. A very warm welcome to the programme. This Thursday is the biggest awareness day in the UK for charity Brain Tumour Research. It's looking to support long-term life-saving studies into the illness. The charity say research into brain tumours is underfunded, but now following a successful online petition, the issue of money will be debated in the Parliament next month. Our reporter Shan Robins has more.
St Michael's Building at the University of Portsmouth is home to a brain tumour research lab that receives core funding from charity Brain Tumour Research. Their recent e-petition raised over 120,000 signatures, calling on the UK government to fund more research into brain tumours, and that'll be debated by MPs on the 18th of April. Professor Pilkington directs the Brain Tumour Research Centre of Excellence programme and also leads the South of England Brain Tumour Alliance.
I think this is very exciting. This petition was originally raised by the sister of a brain tumour patient who was diagnosed back in, I think it was 2008, and his parents contacted me at that time, so I've known a little bit about this case right the way through. Sadly, he died last year at the age of about 24. This e-petition is very significant because it's given rise to the first debate that there will be held in the House of Commons about the level of funding specifically for brain tumour research. And I think it's paramount to discuss this and what we can achieve if we have more funding coming through to the right sectors. So historically, unfortunately, there has been limited funding for brain tumour research. Because brain tumours are so varied, there are over 120 different forms of brain tumour, and because their biology is so complex, we have a limited number of people working in that discipline. And one of the important things is to try to engage young researchers on a career structure, on a career pathway. And hitherto, the rungs in the ladder, when you start off and do your doctorate or your PhD, moving up that ladder has been very difficult because the rungs in the ladder have been missing. So if we can get more funding in, we can have more people working on brain tumours, and we can speed up the process of translating what we do in the laboratory into clinic to have an effect on patient outcomes.
Kathleen is one of a team who've been working for 3 years on an avenue of research that might stop due to lack of funding.
I look into mitochondria, which are organelles within the cell that produce energy, and these can be dysregulated in cancer cells. And so where classical treatments for brain tumours have not had a great effect, we're now turning to different avenues of research, and metabolism is quite a hot topic. And so my research looks into whether mutations within the mitochondria have an effect on brain tumour cells.
And is the research that you're doing affected by funding?
It is, so I'm due to finish at the end of this year, and hopefully the project can carry on, but obviously most of the projects here are entirely charity funded, so sometimes the projects end up not being funded for much longer if the funding's not there.
Brain Tumour Research say this research receives less than 1% of national cancer research funding in the UK, yet more children and people under 40 die of brain tumours than from any other cancer. The House of Commons Petitions Committee investigated the subject of funding for research into brain tumours and have published their first report with findings and recommendations to the government. Within their conclusions, they recommend a first step to increase the awareness of brain tumours and to increase the numbers of tumours diagnosed early. Professor Pilkington is often asked by soap opera and documentary makers for advice related to raising awareness of symptoms. But symptoms are often not simple.
Headaches actually only account for about 40% of cases on presentation. So the region of the brain that's affected is very significant. If you have a tumour in one part of the brain, it might give rise to seizures. Another part of the brain, it might cause problems in memory or in cognition. A whole series of different neurological and other behavioural signs and symptoms are out there.
We're really lucky at the Brain Tumour Research Centre in Portsmouth that it's a dedicated team of brain tumour scientists, although that's not the norm. But through the lab at Portsmouth, we get to meet a lot of patients and family members, and it's quite a strong motivation in order to carry on the research that's largely funded by the charity sector rather than funding from elsewhere. A lot of the breakthroughs in other cancers haven't been made in brain tumours, so there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in order to allow the prognosis and treatments to catch up with other cancers.
This is Shan Robins for That's Solent.